So today I want to talk to you about owning your strengths. I am 43 years old right now, and if I were to look at myself as being 20 again, I can see I did so many mistakes. I want this cast to be the guide I wish I had before making all those mistakes. I was so extremely lucky to get a ton of mentors throughout the years that taught me so much, and in a way this is me giving back, hoping I'm not going to be so boring and old and so far away from your reality that you don't think this helps you. But owning your strength is so important. When I started out, I was young, I was in school, and school kind of said, well, everyone has to train their average. You had to be sure no one was subpar on anything. And I would say that is number one thing I've learned now that I know better where I am, what I know. And I know a lot of very successful people who all totally ignore everything except their strength. So be kind to yourself. You don't need to know everything, but you need to know what you want to know. And that's a challenge. I guide people, coaching, mentors and stuff like that. And quite often we look back 5 years, 10 years, and we realize we have learned so much since then. So what was on the map 5, 10 years ago is just a blip on the radar compared to everything we know right now. So be kind to yourself in what you don't know and really try hard to figure out what you do know. Right like now, I'm not comfortable on the camera, but I did overcome being comfortable on the podcast. That's why I now have a 4-year-old podcast on self-leadership, relationshippower.com, if you want to go there and check out how to, and the idea there is to make managers kinder, to get better results and better, longer retention. So if that's interests you, go there. And eventually that became the new normal. I'm getting a ton of gratitude for that podcast right now. And now I'm on the camera, not comfortable when you are figuring out your strength. You are playing with things that isn't going to be comfortable when you start out. You will be making mistakes. Be kind to yourself, but keep showing up, practicing. And allow yourself to have a few things you don't know. Allow yourself to, of course, I'm not saying if it's compliance or if it's important for a test, go with it. But don't focus your time there, don't linger there. Like I had a few teachers really pushing us to do. Instead, harness and hone your strength. Work hard to identify your strength, and that means listening to other people, listening to how people help you. Listen to what works, and especially listen to your intention. If you intended to get something done, did you do that for the best outcome possible? Or should you try something in a different way? Keep trying. You learn. Trying is learning. Playing, have the adaptive, playful mindset and figuring out how can you do things differently. And on that note too, explore, knowing that testing something once isn't final. Try it multiple times. Eventually you will learn. But you have to do things differently. I think one of the biggest challenges I wish I'd known when I was young was the human condition to defaulting to more. When I started to do anything, I can see that we sometimes believe more is better. But more is not better. Better is better. Ask yourself, what did I intend to happen, and did that happen? Ask yourself, how do I know? What does success look like? How will I know if I get it? Ask yourself, is this the best path getting there? Listen to advice for people who's already there. Don't listen for people who's not there saying it can't be done. Listen to the people who are there and ask them for advice. How did they do that? But also pay attention to that their strength might be yours, might not be your strength, and your strength might be beyond their strength. Own your strength. Focus on your strength. Hone your strength and be vulnerable where you're not where you're not strong. Dare to be vulnerable, because then you can connect with other people who have strength where you are. So the team will be so much better. Be open and vulnerable where you are vulnerable. Pretending to be vulnerable is not owning your strength. Pretending to not be vulnerable is not owning your strength. That distance yourself from people. That doesn't connect with people. If we listen to Brené Brown, she says, when other people show their vulnerability, we perceive that as bravery. When we think about our vulnerability, we think that is fear. Food for thought. Think about that. Dare to open up. And once again, if you're not connecting with people in a good way, when you open up, you become the company you keep. Once again, owning your strength means that you also think about seriously, who are you hanging out with? Where are you investing the most of your time? Very important to think about. And also know that you can change who you're hanging out with. You can invest 5 minutes a day to figure out how can you help someone who are more worthy of the strength you want to learn from, adapt from, harness, train. Ask yourself, how can I get some more of that? How can I help others while I train on that strength? And also on owning your strength means that listening to when it's not working, listening and accepting reality. It's not just, doesn't happen automatic. It will not be a straight line. We think we can learn something and then it's just a straight line to success, but rarely is that the case. If you find yourself on a straight line to success, you have cut yourself short. That is not owning your strength. Owning your strength means adapting, learning, failing, retrying, doing better. Better clients, better results, better. Everything becomes better when you dare to own your strength. Owning your strength also means communicating that in a way that is respectful for the people around you. Not arrogance, not without listening for their worldview, not trying to persuade them that your way is better. Owning, for this is my worldview, I'm not trying to persuade you, but I'm trying to share what I wish I'd known when I was younger. You choose whatever behavior you want, but own that, and it's your job to explain that in a way that makes sense for the people around you. As Einstein said a long time ago, if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. Own that. Figure out, how can I explain my strength and the benefits it will have for others in a way that really resonates with them? Very good question to think about. How do you do that? And if you don't think about that, you're really making it harder for other people to perceive your strength there and perceive how can that strength help them get what they want. As Ziglar says, you can tell my strength is not the camera, which is totally fine. I'm working on that. And you can work on your strength too. We are all beginners when we start, and we are all vulnerable when we do something new, comfortable. I probably have so much to learn after listening to the feedback on this camera. So can you. Embrace that feedback and accept it if you can't explain it simply. You don't understand it well enough. And likewise, if anyone else is trying to talk you down, trying to sound like they're big, that quote can help you realize where you are on that scale as well and where they are. If they can't explain it simply, perhaps they get frustrated, perhaps they get whatever. That quote also reminds you that they apparently can't explain it simply either. Like Brené Brown also says, owning your strength. Oh, actually, she says, don't puff and don't shrink. And I'm going to add that in the context owning your strength. Don't pretend to be better than you are. Don't pretend to know it all. Be you. Don't shrink. Don't make yourself smaller and say, oh, this is so scary. And don't try to pretend that you're better than you are. You're perfectly fine the way you are. Owning your strength means there's a reason you know what you know. There's a reason why you don't know what you don't know, because you haven't invested your time there. And once again, going back to intent, you can re-choose that. You can choose a new decision and a new intention to become better. But own where you are. Don't try to make things better. In a resume, owning your strength would mean persuasively truthful. Be true to who you are. And once again, that means that you also have to figure out your strength, right? But it's okay. You are where you are and you can grow from wherever you go. Once again, looking back 5 years from now, you will anyway think, wow, I've learned something. How could that be a struggle? Don't work for perfect right now. Don't try to have the one mission that's going to solve everything or teach you everything or change everything. Make a small change today. Make a small intention to do something slightly better and you will get there. Owning your strength means you actually embrace the hardship of training, this stretch of going outside of your comfort zone. Whatever it is that's required to get you where you need, once again, hopefully in a respectful and caring manner for yourself and others. But change doesn't happen automatically. You have to work hard for it. But if you do show up and you do listen to the feedback, you will get there too. Even independent on how scary it can be, you will get there. And you will learn by doing like I'm doing. I'm seeing shadows all over the place. I will do things differently next time after listening to some feedback. So can you in whatever thing your ambition is to do, but you have to connect to that ambition. You have to figure that out. And I'm here, by the way, just because I was told that you should be near windows, and I have 3 windows here, as you can see. So that's why I'm here. Apparently not the best place to be in. Actually, this might be better. Now that I see, I'm learning live, as you see. So experiment is better, because doing it on paper, hoping you're gonna just magically do home runs the first time you do it, won't happen. Doing it perfect, like practicing, and I can do this to study, happens so easily, but that doesn't change anything. Putting it in the real life world, preferably in a way that helps someone with a direct need, is the best way to learn, is the best way to grow. So ask yourself, who can you help today with what you know? And the best outcome is you made their life better, easier, or you got feedback that you need to train or you should do something differently. That's at least a lot better than staying in your head. And also, in my experience, a lot better than being fooled into investing your time in other things than your strength. The thing is, once you start to become successful, you can hire people that do what you don't do well. Once you become successful, you can delegate to those people and they will do a ton of a better job on that than you do. And they might even love it when you hate it. So this is the path to passionate work. This is the path to doing the hard emotional labor that really connects with other people. This is the path to a happy, sustainable life. I wish someone else told me not to stop polishing on things that I'm simply not good at. I wish people would have encouraged, actually, honestly, they did. I've been lucky in that, but I wish I'd embraced it even more, to let go of all the things I'm apparently not good at. That's okay. But it's also my responsibility to keep showing up, figuring out what I am good at. How can I today best help other people? What does that require of me? Because once again, right now I'm aware of I don't have all the answers on what my strengths are. There's no end game for strength. 5 years from now, perhaps this video will be something I say, well, I can't imagine that was hard. Right now it is hard. But that can become the new normal. Or perhaps it doesn't. Perhaps. You don't know. But if you try, you come one step closer to it. Do that in a healthy way. Don't bet everything on the one coin. And that's also when it comes to owning your strength. Use that responsibility, of course, respectful and caring to other people. But responsibility also means don't invest everything in one platform. For example, if you put that on, say, YouTube, it's their platform. They decide what they do with it. Don't invest everything in that platform because you don't know what's going to happen with it. Owning your strength means building multiple platforms that you can use that strength, that you can harness your power for the benefit of everyone. Because everything is changing. Tools that existed when I was a teenager learning IT the first time are gone. Tools can change every year, every 2 years, and from vanishing from nothingness, disrupting everything around it. Owning your strength also means harnessing your skill set per se, but also where you're harnessing and how you're harnessing it. What used to be a gold mine might stop to be. What used to be giving... I remember reading a book, Who Stole My Cheese, when I was young, about change. And things don't last forever. Owning your skills means embracing reality in that way. It means nobody owns you, whatever is working right now on that platform, to keep working for you. You have to figure out a way, how can I become independent on my strength? And once again, that might be hiring someone else for marketing. Say you're an indie developer, for marketing your platform, because that's probably not your strength if you're really, really good at developing. But accepting that your strength and alone is not enough. You have to co-work with others who have strength that you don't. And also on that note, you have to identify which things should you really delegate as soon as possible. But in a controlled way. Don't also sign contracts that you think look golden right now, but 5 years from now won't. Ensure there is a deadline to any contract you sign, because you don't know how long your current goal is your goal. You don't know what right now might feel like beyond your wildest imagination strength-wise. Like if you achieve that level of strength, you've got settled for life, because there's no such thing. There's a great quote called, "My goal in my life is the pursuit of a worthy goal." And that's a good quote, because as soon as you achieve one goal, you will automatically be qualified on your new awareness level for new goals. You will automatically be aware there's a better way to do things. There's a better way in whatever niche you do. I don't know what you do. You don't know that better than I do. But there is always a better way. There's always new goals around the horizon. So ensure you don't sign a contract that is too lengthy in time, or too handicapping, or signing away too much. Likewise, don't sell yourself short. there's endless opportunities there. But you have to build and own the strength you have. You have to know, where are you if you're playing something with the metrics? Where are you on that ladder? You have to own that. And that is hard sometimes to identify and qualify. But you don't have to own everything right now. With this mindset that I hope helps you, you at least try. You at least show up with an intention of what do you want to know. That's a question for you right now. What do you want to know? What is and where is your strength in that area right now? And don't disconnect because it feels, well, if it's not a worthy goal, I don't want to do anything. Connect with that intention right now. Ask yourself, what if I achieve this for the people I care about? What would happen? What would that enable me? What would that enable them? And what is some small thing I can do today to get closer to build that strength? To build that skill set? To not be ruled by the platforms I harness currently, but actually look beyond them into the change I want to be in life. Thank you so much for listening and also watching, if you're watching this live. Take care of yourself, my friend. Bye bye.